next door. Happy weekend, everyone. Tonight I'm gonna be making Immune Buster Salmon and I'm gonna serve it with an awesome kale salad. Let's walk through the ingredients briefly. So first here, I got my organic salmon fillet. I got a bunch of kale here. It's just washed and drained. Now for the immunity part, I got turmeric, I have cinnamon and ginger, all ground. And then I'm going to be using Dijon mustard, orange, olive oil for my dressing. And then I'm gonna top the whole thing with spicy pumpkin seeds and pomegranate jewels. Now with that, let's get cooking. Guys, everybody's talking immunity, right? So what I thought was, because I love salmon and I wanted to make a very healthy dinner, so what I'm gonna use is all these wonderful spices that are very well known for their immune boosting benefits, and I'm going to season my salmon with that. And I'm marrying everything with kale. It's also full of vitamin C, so I thought this is an immune buster dinner. So let's move on to the fish. So first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically put a spice rub together because I want the salmon to get familiar with those flavors. So first, we're gonna use turmeric. So turmeric is of course an anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant at the same time. Next time, make sure you get a spoon that fits into the spice jar. This is a half a teaspoon. I'm gonna use 2 of these. So 2 heaping teaspoons of turmeric. And what I love about turmeric is it's mostly color. It doesn't have too much flavor, so you can actually put whatever flavor you want in there. Now let's move on to the ginger. Now ginger is of course very well known for its antioxidant benefits. Also ginger helps with digestion. So, but it can be pungent, so I'm gonna basically go ahead and add half a teaspoon. And as I go along, I'm mixing my spice mix here. Now, cinnamon is not very typical, but it's very much used in Middle Eastern cooking. So cinnamon is also a magical spice because it aids in digestion. It's also good for blood sugar management. So I'm gonna roll it into my immune booster because I think it will give it a very nice flavor. So I'm putting also half teaspoon of cinnamon. So it's turmeric heavy, the spice rub, okay? Guys, to these 3 spices, you can certainly add like paprika, chili pepper, things like that as well. But I'm gonna keep it very simple. The only thing I'm gonna add is some sea salt. Because the salmon's gonna need it. So let's give our spice mixture a final mix. Now the salmon fillet is huge, so I'm actually gonna portion it. So tonight I'm gonna cook half of it and then I will save the other half for another recipe. So what you wanna do is lay your spice mix like this on the plate. Now let's move on to the salmon. This is a gorgeous piece of salmon from the belly area. It's nice and meaty. Now I'm gonna cut this in half. Salmon's a super delicate fish. And of course, it's filled with omega-3s. It's super good for you. And honestly, it's one of my favorite fish in the world. So, I'm gonna be using this fillet here. So what I wanna do immediately is I wanna get my salmon fillet into the spice mixture. The salmon's already oily, right? It has a lot of fatty oils, so I don't need to oil it really. I'm just gonna dunk it here into the spice mix. So the salmon is just gonna sit here, infuse those flavors until I'm ready to cook. So let's put the salmon aside. Now I'm going to work on my kale. So what we do with kale as usual is I'm going to massage it. So for the massaging, I'm gonna go ahead and use orange juice. This is a nice juicy piece of orange. Now make sure all the water is drained out of your kale and then squeeze that beautiful orange juice. So the orange is gonna give kale the acid it needs, but also it's going to give it a nice, sweetness. I'm gonna use the other half for the dressing. How smart is that, right? Now we're gonna go in with some sea salt. And you know the drill. We're gonna massage this bad boy. It's been a while actually I had kale because the supermarkets were totally out of kale. Because you know in Dubai we heavily rely on imports and kale was totally out of stock for weeks actually. So I'm so happy that things are back to normal and my favorite vegetable is back on the shelves. Guys, I'm fighting with my sourdough bread. Oh my God, it's so difficult. You know, I tried probably about 7 loaves so far. And I think maybe 1 or 2 were almost there, but the others completely failed. I mean, what fails is, you know, they're not really rising to the level that I want them to rise. So I'm trying to do some troubleshooting. We'll see. I'm working on my 8th recipe today, but yeah, it's very complex. Cooking is so much easier. So the kale is massaged. I'm gonna set it aside, wash my hands, and I'll be back to make the dressing. Guys, at this point, I'm gonna give my salmon a gentle turn. So all those nice spices can infuse onto the skin side as well. Woo. Just make sure you don't wear the spice mix. Overall, it looks great. Maybe this side needs a little bit more. Do you see how the spice is adhering to the fish? That's exactly what I want. So I'm gonna cook this fish flesh side down and then I'm gonna turn it to the skin side. When you are seasoning salmon, like with spices and things, always cook it flesh side down and then flip it to the skin side down. This is a little trick for you because this way the spices will adhere to the fish so much better. Guys, at this point, I want to get my pan hot and then I'm gonna drop the salmon as we work on the dressing. It's all about time management. Gourmet next door likes meals under 15 minutes. So pan is on medium-high heat. I'm gonna put some olive oil. Now, let's move on to our dressing. So, let's squeeze the other half of the orange. I love orange juice in dressings. I don't use much of it because it has sugar. But anyway, these days I'm not really doing the keto or the low carb thing that much. So I'm gonna indulge a bit today using orange in my dressing. So into this juice, we're gonna go ahead and add some Dijon mustard. Remember, Dijon mustard is an emulsifier in dressings. So I want to just give it a very rough stir. You can use any kind of mustard you like, but Dijon is my favorite. Now I'm gonna put some salt. So I'm waiting for my pan to be hot before I put the salmon in. And I can see the oil is moving pretty freely. That means it's ready to go. So we take our salmon from the fat side. Now I'm going to shake it a bit so the excess drops off. And now I drop it into the pan. Guys, the fish is always better if you cook it on a medium-high heat, because if you do it on a very high heat, the outside will burn and the inside will not be cooked. So be patient. Now I just want to show you this. It's nice and sizzly. So it's gonna cook about 5 minutes on this side, and I'm gonna cook it probably for another 2-3 on the other side because I like my salmon somewhat rare. If you like your salmon cooked, 10 minutes, 5-5, okay? So now let's drizzle some olive oil into our dressing. You want to slowly pour the olive oil to make sure it's nice and emulsified. Now I love my dressings acidic, so I'm using a 1-to-2 ratio, but usually dressings are 1-to-3. So 1 part acid, 3 parts oil. I don't want to do too much because salmon's super fatty fish, so I want this dressing to be nice and light. I can smell that salmon. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the kale a try. That is perfect. Now I'm gonna dump the dressing. And give it a little mix. Let's give it a try again. It's extremely light, extremely delicious, little tangy from the orange, little sweet, it's perfect. Guys, the fish is smoking, so it tells me it's ready to flip. So, let's do this carefully. Oh! Oh! Look at that crust! Gorgeous! So now we're gonna cook this for a couple more minutes and then it will be done. Guys, let's plate this beautiful food. So first the kale. Look how vibrant and green and gorgeous this food is. Amazing. Lots of fiber, vitamin C. So one trick is you go around the pan and you turn the fish so it cooks evenly everywhere. Oh, those spices have caramelized with the oil. They're absolutely gorgeous. So remember, if you like your salmon cooked well, 10 minutes. Otherwise, I'm gonna remove this from the heat now. And then I'm going to basically put it like this. Oh, how gorgeous is that? Guys, now for the finishing touch, I have some spicy pumpkin seeds. I love pumpkin seeds. It's gonna be a nice little crunch and a deliciousness on the plate. And I love some color, love pomegranate, so little pomegranate jewels. Oh, some beautiful color and a little tang. And the finishing touch, a little bit salt. The other thing is I always finish my fish dishes with squeeze of lemon or lime. It just brings everything together. Guys, there you have it. This is my immune booster salmon with kale salad. Bon appetit! Let's give the food a try. I just so curious about the salmon. Guys, look at how gorgeous this fish is. First the fish and then I'm going to try the kale salad. It's so light, so delicious, full of nutrition, full of color. And why not eat something that boosts your immunity naturally? So thanks for watching. Stay safe. Catch you next time. Ciao.